Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Nuggets News. Today I'm going to give you a walkthrough of how to use the eToro trading platform and let you know what type of assets I like to trade here and how to set up those trades with stop losses and take profit levels, as well as the type of asset that I wouldn't necessarily recommend trading here. But one of the reasons that I do like this platform is that it gives you exposure to ETFs, stocks, indexes, commodities and currencies that are otherwise really hard to get exposure to as a retail trader or investor, and it lets us buy or short those, so making money on the way down is really important as well. Now, that was one of the reasons that we were happy to partner with them and do some work with eToro. So this isn't a paid review, but we do have that sign-on bonus at the moment where you can get $100 Bitcoin and a 10% deposit credit if you sign up using the link below. All the FAQs are on our website, so just head over there, fill out that form and sign up with that link so you can qualify for that bonus. So this is the platform. This is the trade market screen where you can see the different types of assets that'll let you trade. You can search for your favorite stocks or assets up the top there as well. You can create a watch list for the things you want to keep an eye on, a portfolio once you have positions open. That's the news feed there. The other feature that's new is copy people. So you can copy traders or copy portfolios, and a lot of people are really interested in that. So find traders that are trading asset classes that you like, look at their performance, and then mirror what they're doing. So a few other settings there. There are how-to guides and more help features there, but I'm going to run you through how to do everything today as well. So once you've downloaded the app or signed up on the website, you will need to verify who you are with KYC, then make a deposit into eToro, and then you can start trading. So as a beginner, they do have this virtual portfolio where you can practice trading, and that's really important because 90% of beginners lose money, and it's generally because they've got no strategy or they use leverage and they trade on margin. So they put on really big positions and they get wiped out. So I'm going to give you some tips to try and not be in that 90% and give yourself the best chance of making money. But I definitely recommend using that virtual portfolio until you're confident, until you've got a repeatable process where you know that you can make money. So let's head over and have a look at a few of the charts. And at the moment, I often talk about stocks and the Fed are printing money. We've got lots of assets that are going, really hard. So in Australia, it's pretty hard to get exposure to Apple stock, for example, as a retail trader. So that's the type of asset where you might look to buy that and ride it up, or you might say, look, it's gone pretty parabolic. I think it might pull back soon. So the US stock market as a whole continues to power higher. There's a few specific examples that we've covered during the year, like Beyond Meat, that really went parabolic after it listed and touched well over $200. So this is the type of stock which would be very hard to short in Australia and bet that it's going to go down and make money on the way down. So that is why I really do like eToro for these types of assets when we get things that are really at extremes, and I like to put on positions there. So I'm going to walk you through a trade idea or how to set up a stop loss and a take profit level. I shared this in my Facebook group this morning about Tesla. Now this has gone from $175 to $600 just in the last few months. So really parabolic, and I think it could be due for a pullback soon. So if we head over to the charts, we've got to have some sort of strategy. So I like to use things like fundamentals and sentiment I just touched on, but I've got my Bollinger Bands, which we're outside of there on a weekly chart. We've got the RSI, I've got a momentum indicator down here. So you've got to find out what works for you, if it's moving averages or what strategy and technical analysis are you going to stick to it, and stick to those rules, because beginners just come in and they jump in blindly, they buy whatever's going up and they're late to the party and they get burnt, and that's why 90% of people lose money, as well as trading something like this on leverage. So if we head back over to the platform, we can search for the name of our favorite stock or commodity that we want to trade. I've already got Tesla up here. So we just click on trade, and that's going to bring up this screen. And then we can choose if we want to buy or sell. So I'm actually going to click on sell, and this actually means that we're shorting. So we're not actually selling a stock that we already own. We're betting that it's going to go down, and that's confusing for beginners, but just think of shorting means betting it's going to go down, and longing or buying means that you're betting it's going to go up and you make money if it goes up. So the first option we have here is to buy it just at the market rate whenever the market is next open. Now, some things like Bitcoin obviously trade throughout the whole day, whereas other stocks are closed on certain market hours. The other option here, if you click on rate, is to say, I don't just want to buy it at whatever it's currently trading at or short it in our example. I might want to wait till it gets up to 600 and then my order will get filled. That's where I've got my entry from and hoping it then goes down after that. Next up here, I need to choose the size of the amount. So how much do I want to put on this trade? So $1,000, for example, let's take off that leverage because I don't recommend beginners use leverage. That is there and it will allow you to trade far bigger positions than the amount of money you have by leveraging up. But let's just stay on 1 times leverage, and that's obviously going to show us 1.67 units because the shares or the units are $600 each. So hopefully that explains how to do that. Next up here, we've got the stop loss and our take profit level. So if we click on stop loss, it is going to bring up this screen here and we can either choose an amount or a rate. So if we've got $1,000 in this trade, we might only be prepared to lose minus $100. And that is going to tell us here that that's around 10%, that we're happy to lose 10%. And that would be at $660. If the stock gets to that price, that's 10%, that's a $100 loss for us, and the trade would close down. Now, if we click on the rate, that's going to tell us, or we're going to tell our order what rate, what share price do we want to close this trade down. So we might say, oh, if it gets up to $650, I think I'd like to cut my losses. And that's going to tell us that would be an 8.3% stop loss. So we're either setting the price or the amount that we're willing to lose as our stop loss there. Now our take profit level is the same thing again. If Tesla goes to zero, we'd make $1,000 because we've shorted it all the way to zero. We might only be looking to make say $200 profit, and that's going to tell us that that's a 20% profit, and the price would be $480 at that stage. So again, we can do it the other way around. We can tell it the actual price that we want to take profits at. We might choose 450, and that's going to tell us, well, that's a 25% profit. In terms of the stop loss, the last advanced feature you can set is a trailing stop loss. So that is going to trail you on the way down. So if it starts to make money, but then it heads back up, your stop loss will come down with it, sitting 10% behind, for example, and then it will close you out rather than going all the way back to your initial stop loss where it was originally and losing money because you were already in profit. Then we just click on set order and confirm, and that's going to execute that trade when the market is next open. So next up, I want to talk about a few other products that I really like to trade. And my copy trader portfolio, I'm going to be focusing on gold and silver, Bitcoin, and a few other cryptocurrencies. And there's right and wrong ways to trade these. So if you want to trade gold, for example, a lot of people search gold and it's going to bring up the commodity where you're actually trading a representation of the futures market. So at the moment, eToro is CFDs, so contracts for difference. So until they get their regulatory approval, you're not actually trading real shares or real commodities or real crypto, which is something that we obviously advocate for. So I'd prefer everyone owned real gold or silver and real Bitcoin, but hopefully eToro get that upgrade soon. But in the meantime, I don't mind using these platforms for trading rather than your long-term HODL stack, for example. So with gold there, if we click on trade, we can see it's quite a lot more expensive to trade the futures market. So we can leverage up to 100 times, but there's a lot of higher fees. So $3 a day to keep that position open or $11 on weekends. Whereas if we go back up to the top here, we can type gold again. It's going to bring up the GLD ETF. And this is what I'm going to be using as my trading instrument because of the fees. They're far lower. If we take off leverage, the fees go down to zero for holding that position open each day or over weekends, as well as zero as the entry price. There is a little bit of a spread, you'll notice, between the buying and selling price, and that is kind of where the fees, I guess, are made, for instance. So same again, as I showed you before, we just set this up with a price, with the amount, if we want to use that leverage or not. I wouldn't recommend that for beginners. Then we set up our stop loss, our take profit levels, and execute the trade. Now at the moment, I'm looking for a little bit of a pullback in gold. So we've been very bullish on gold for a number of years and we've caught most of this incredible run. Watch my gold and silver market predictions video I did last week for more information. But we're at a really critical resistance where ideally I'd love to get a pullback before getting a better entry price for my copy trader portfolio there. A few other things I'm looking at, we've got record high open interest. There's lots of speculative longs. So there's lots of people betting that gold's going to go up when there's already been a big move. And that can often be the 90% of retail traders or beginners that are late to the party. And that's when we can get a pullback as well. So I'm just being a little bit patient here. I'd love a better entry price. I do actually think that silver is setting up a little bit more bullish. And recently, for our members who have joined our website, we've done a few reports on gold and silver and the best ETFs to trade. So most of you are pretty familiar with GLD and SLV, the gold and silver ETFs, but we also have things like the GDX and GDXJ, which are the gold miners and junior miners ETFs. So look, these are the types of things, again, that I really think that they're quite unique to get exposure to for very low fees and cost of carry for Australians. So finally, just tying this all together, I know you guys do love the SLV ETF. I do think that silver is looking a little bit more primed compared to gold because of that gold to silver ratio, and it hasn't really had the run that gold has had. So if we just look at gold quickly, it's butting up against that resistance that I outlined here, up against its old highs, whereas silver is still, right down here. $26 or above would be that comparative price, and silver hasn't really broken out yet. So if we can break above $19, I think it could be towards 26 over the next few months. So I'm definitely looking to get positions in both gold and silver. I am looking to get some positions in crypto long term, but if you are going to trade these cryptos, you have to be aware that they have fairly wide spreads. And that's not the sort of thing that I'd recommend for day trading. Yes, Bitcoin does move in large percentages. So if you're making profitable trades, you're not too fussed about a 1% spread. But as a day trader or someone that's getting in and out of lots of trades, obviously there's other crypto platforms which have lower fees than that. So yes, I am going to be looking for swing positions, longer term positions, gold, silver, Bitcoin, the large cap coins. These assets I do think are going to perform really well as the Fed starts to print money. We get negative interest rates, all that type of thing. So that's kind of my thesis around my copy portfolio. Again, you can check that out and sign up with that link below. So I hope you guys have enjoyed that tutorial, that educational session there on how to use the eToro platform and set up stop losses, take profit levels. Smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, share this video around, and I'll talk to you again soon. Cheers.